By virtue of the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this Assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite Marcus Gabronsky, Treasurer of the SRC, to read the university dedication.
At this time of celebration, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life, and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in a spirit of freedom and responsibility, and through consultation and debate. We celebrate our founders, benefactors, and predecessors, those who built the fabric and nourished the values of UCT. To those of you who graduate today, we wish courage, wisdom, and purpose. To those who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by those values which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond. A love of truth and of learning, and of this, our university.
Please be seated. what can lift one's spirits better than climb every mountain? Our soprano was Hoitsamang Leobai, and she sung, as you heard, of course, Climb Every Mountain from The Sound of Music by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Now, Hoitsi has just returned from touring America, and next month she travels to England before returning to South Africa to tour with tenor Johan Botha. Give her another round of applause. Wonderful. She was accompanied by Francois Botha, and he's also a traveler. He's just returned from touring Hong Kong, China, and Indonesia with the Phantom of the Opera and The Sound of Music. And the processional march was performed by Black Roots Marimbas, led by the student of African music, Sky Dladla. And lastly, I should mention that the national anthem was led by students from the South African College of Music, and they were accompanied by the organist Alexios Vikatos, who graduates himself tonight with an honors in chemistry. And I should just say that, look, it's a big night for the Vikatos family, because now Alexios is the winner of the Gordon Percy Memorial Award. He got the class medal in chemistry, and he is the nominee for the James Moore Medal of the South African Chemical Institute. And also, Alexios' sister, Giselle, is also graduating this evening. So, this is a wonderful night. Thank you very much, and to all our artists. It's my special privilege to welcome you on behalf of the university to the ceremony in which we celebrate the achievements of the Faculty of Science. First of all, a very warm welcome to the graduates, the most important people in the hall tonight, but also a very warm welcome to your families, friends, and loved ones who have come tonight to support you and to contribute to the recognition given tonight to your achievements. We're very happy to have all of you with us tonight on this very happy occasion. Tonight we will see awarded BSc degrees with a wide variety of majors and higher degrees in an amazing array of scientific fields. In atmospheric science, botany, chemistry, climate development, computer science, conservation biology, environmental and geographical science, geology, geochemistry, information technology, marine biology, ocean and atmosphere science, molecular and cell biology, zoology, and more. Now, by choosing to come to the University of Cape Town to do your studies, you did a very good thing, because you came to a university to study science where your lecturers are producing world-class research in science. But by choosing science itself, you've also chosen to help build a good future for our country. Because science, both pure and applied, is vital to the economic health of our country. Recently, Themba Nkosi, the General Manager for Corporate Affairs at ArcelorMittal SA, pointed out that, and I quote, "As South Africa fights to retain its economic footing, calls are rising for the country to raise its performance in the STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, the key ingredients for innovation and the scientific and technical building blocks of any economy." It's increasingly clear that for us to overcome our economic woes, we will have to, in Themba Nkosi's words, accelerate the process of creating a skilled nation. And science education and research is at the heart of this. But of course, as scientists, you do not only think in economic terms. but also in terms of creating a better world, and also in terms of the exhilaration of science on its own. Although, as you know, science done for its own sake has often led to the most useful applications imaginable. Not so long ago, the Nobel Prize winner Roger Kornberg said in an address at the Stanford Medical School, "If I were to ask members of this audience what were the most important advances in medicine during the 20th century, most would make a similar list: X-rays, antibiotics, cell culture, non-invasive imaging, genetic engineering, and a few others." And then he says, "These medical advances have one thing in common. They were all discoveries made in the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake, with no idea of any application, no purpose in the prevention or cure of disease." So the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake is also very important, and the university will always protect that. But scientists in a developing country should also think that is of equal importance that one can ask, how can I put my skills to work in improving the condition of our people? Because we have a lot to do in that regard. Tomorrow will be the 40th anniversary of June the 16th, 1976. And we will remember the sacrifice made by those young people. Many paid with their lives. Few ever had the opportunity to go to university. Yet their actions form a very important part of the causal chain that led to the fact that so many, though not nearly enough, of our young citizens can attend university. And of course, you are part of the fortunate ones who have made it to university. So my message to you is honor their sacrifice by making the most of the education that you've received, and seek out the causes through which you yourselves, as scientists and as citizens, can make our country a better place. Thank you very much. Vice-Chancellor, the university's Distinguished Teacher Award, given only once to an individual, recognizes teaching at any or all levels by a member of the faculty who has made a significant and lasting impression on students. It acknowledges the primary place of teaching and learning in the work of the university and marks sustained excellence in teaching. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for a Distinguished Teachers Award for 2015, Adam West, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Biological Sciences. Vice-Chancellor, despite only having been in the Department of Biological Sciences since 2010, Adam West's performance and achievements in that short period have been nothing short of outstanding. His course evaluations paint a picture of a beloved, respected, and extraordinary teacher and partner in learning. He also plays an active role in developing the curriculum and leading new and innovative approaches to teaching and learning. Despite often teaching difficult course modules, Adam has consistently received the highest student evaluations. More outstanding is that these evaluations have been constantly improving over the past 5 years, to the point that Adam now boasts an exceptional 94.1% average across all his undergraduate courses and years of teaching. Adam shapes his teaching to ensure that students are engaged, delivery of content is tailored both to their needs and his needs and expectations, and that the content is relevant and worthwhile. He ensures that courses and supervision are tailored and incorporates modern techniques and technology. And he has exceptional results to show for it, with outstanding teaching and supervision results at the honours, master's and PhD level. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to grant a Distinguished Teacher Award for 2015 to Adam West. It is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, and tonight we've asked the Vice-Chancellor to be the guest speaker. I'm going to give you a few bits of his biography. Those of us from inside UCT know our Vice-Chancellor, but not all of us are from inside UCT, so I'll give a few highlights, but I just want to explain why we've asked him to speak specifically tonight. In 1976, Max Price was the president of the Wits SRC. So at the time when the events of tomorrow occurred, he was the student leader at Wits, and the next year, at the commemoration of June the 16th in 1977, he was detained. So we thought that it was very much appropriate for him to speak here tonight on this occasion. So Max Price did an MB-CHB at Wits in 1979, afterwards a BA Honours, a PPE at Oxford University with a Rhodes Scholarship, and then went on to do an MSc at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and another diploma in occupational health at Wits in 1992. He has held very many different positions, but before coming here to UCT, he was the Dean of Health Sciences at the University of the Witwatersrand for 10 years, and he has been installed as the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cape Town in 2008, and he is currently in his second term as Vice-Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Max Price.
Good evening, graduates, graduands, family members, ladies and gentlemen, faculty. Today is a landmark day for all of us and for all of you, the culmination of years of work and a springboard into the wider world. It's an opportunity to shape a career and make a life outside the university. And of course, it's significant in its own right for that reason. But it's also significant because of the particular timing of this series of 13 graduation ceremonies. As Deputy Vice-Chancellor Fisser mentioned, because the university is in effect closed, we don't have students on campus during June this week, leading up to June 16. We felt that it was important to commemorate that month, that significant point in our history, through linking our graduation ceremonies to that date, and hence the posters on the back of the stage and on the pillars of the Jamison Hall, and the selection of speakers. Tomorrow, June 16, is a time to honour the sacrifices made by young people in the name of education 40 years ago. What was the significance of June 16 then and now? In the late 1960s and early 1970s, political movements and people had been banned and imprisoned. Apartheid was at its zenith, and the system seemed unassailable. Liberation appeared to be an unattainable dream, and after being beaten down and oppressed during the 60s and 70s, there was a general sense of hopelessness. That sense of hopelessness in itself dampens resistance. When schoolchildren took to the streets of Soweto to protest against the compulsory use of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction in schools, The day erupted in chaos. Soweto school children were gunned down by police as they protested and tried to flee from the scene. The June 16 shootings in Soweto sent shockwaves across South Africa and the world. The protests and uprising spread to nearby Alexandra Township and then across the townships of South Africa. By the end of 1976, 575 people had died across the country, about 450 of them at the hands of police. And the protests were then reignited in 1977, a year on the anniversary of the 76 uprising across the country. People rose up against the might of the police and in the face of the army in the townships. Its significance, I think, was that for many people, it marked the turning point in the struggle against apartheid, because what it did was to rekindle the hope that had been lost. It gave people the sense that a popular uprising, while it may not overcome the might of the apartheid police and military, could create a situation which would ultimately have to give, because it would be impossible to maintain and to continue normal life under those circumstances. The state's attempts to brutally suppress school children were seen to be temporarily successful, temporarily quieting, but not effective in settling the unrest in the long run. And this sent a message to all, white and black, that apartheid could not survive and that it was only a matter of time before it crumbled. The white minority and government agencies did indeed continue their business, but cracks were exposed, and almost everyone could now see that the separate independent homelands were a myth, that it was not tenable to sustain a migrant labor force using the pass law system, that it was not tenable to sustain a white minority and suppress a majority of the people in the country forever. That evident truth became also much more present and surfaced overseas, where the pressure from the rest of the world was also ramped up as a result of the exposure of the patently racist system that apartheid represented. So I would argue that the Soweto uprising and the violent protests that followed over the next few years, while they did not in practice challenge the power of the state and the power of business and the power of a minority to continue maintaining a control, it was not a practical overthrow of the state. It was the symbolism of that uprising and the message it conveyed that things would have to change, that gave hope to people, that gave hope to them in a way that ultimately persuaded both those oppressed and the oppressors that there needed to be another way forward. So what are the lessons and significance of June 1976 for us today? I want to briefly draw out 5 messages. The first is that it is salutary and disappointing that the key issue that gave rise to the protests, which was the state of education in the country 40 years ago, remains a flashpoint for conflict today and probably represents the new South Africa's signal failure in the last 22 years. The thing we have most significantly failed at is to fix the school education system. So the issue of education is as important now as it was then, and there is as much work to do as there was then. And if we cannot get the school education system right, then we will still be here in a similar situation 40 years hence. I think that must be the first lesson we take away and remember and address. A second lesson, which derives from that period, I think is a lesson not of what we should do, but what we should not do. And that was a message, a strategy of the 1970s and 80s that argued for liberation first and education later. And what we've seen as a consequence of that strategy was a lost generation, a generation that did not achieve education, and that again has a long-term, perhaps a two-generation effect that continues because that education can never be recovered. And it should worry us enormously when we see that message in today's protests, the burning of schools, the destruction of educational infrastructure and other infrastructure, as if that will be the most effective way of improving our education system. It will not. We have to send the message. We have to remind people of that particular lesson of history and learn that lesson, not have to relearn it by making the mistake again. The third message, I think, is about the value and the necessity for youth to take the lead. Activism starts in universities and schools. It almost always has around the world. We see evidence of that today in our own environment, both in the schools, but especially in the universities in the last year. The young people see the world with fresh eyes. They are idealistic. They believe that the world can be different. They can imagine a different world in ways that an older generation has often just gotten used to and accepts in a more apathetic and complacent way. So when we see the youth activism that we have seen, we should recognize that that is an essential part of what will change, what has changed the world in the past, and what will continue to change the world in the future. We need to value that. We need to encourage that. And I hope that our graduates, in moving out of the university today and into the world, will see themselves as active citizens and see the need to be activists in all sorts of ways, from ensuring that they vote, ensuring that you raise your voices through letters to the editor, through social media, through petitions, through participating in protest activities, and ensuring that we hold authorities accountable. Government is one authority, but certainly the university authorities are another, and holding us all accountable is part of the job of youth and students. So that's another message, another lesson of significance from the Soweto, from 1976. The fourth is to think about what's different from 1976, because a lot is different, and in particular, the democratic environment that we're in is different. And that must lead us to adopt and recognize that different modes of protest are appropriate today. In 1976, when the vast majority of the population, 87% or so, were disenfranchised, had no legal way to express their voice, had no legal way to ensure that their views were represented in government and in the various authorities, when we did not have the institutions of the constitutional institutions that protected individual rights and civil rights, where people could be locked up just for protesting, just because government wanted to prevent something from happening, for 90 days, for 180 days and longer without trial, when the police could and did use live fire in peaceful protests and lock people up for peaceful protests, modes of protest that today are protected by the Constitution. In those environments, when the laws were unjust and not founded on any democratic principles, certain modes of protest, including violent protest, would have been justified. But that is different today. And today we live in a world where we have in a constitutional democracy which we can and should protect. And in signing up for that social compact that says we respect the rights of others, it also means we live by the rule of law, and our protest activities have to be bounded within the rule of law and not transgress levels of violence and arson and some of the forms of protest we've seen, which we need to condemn and not allow. So that too, I think, is a lesson of what is similar and different from 1976. But that is the fifth area I would raise, is that, and perhaps the most difficult lesson about protest and modes of protest, is to find the extent of protest that is sufficiently disruptive to ensure that voices that are marginalized even though we live in a democratic environment, are still heard. Because in spite of our democracy, we recognize that voices are silenced, that in many areas the powerful, who may be powerful because they've been elected into office, nevertheless are corrupt or implement policies which ignore the needs of the majority, which exacerbate inequality and poverty. And we need to find ways, we need to tolerate and encourage forms of protest that ensure that those voices can be heard and are heard. It's important that they be raised peacefully, but over the last year, we've witnessed in the university environment many of those, and most have been, certainly at UCT, most have been within the realms of what we think is appropriate protest, and we've tried to tolerate, encourage, and support that level of protest. There have been occupations which we have allowed because we have felt that that form of protest has a place, as uncomfortable as it may be and as disruptive as it may be. And so, in the process of the protests of the last year, we have seen many voices that have been either silenced or marginalized finding a space in the public realm. And we're grateful that those concerns have been raised. We applaud the students who have brought transformation into focus, who have brought into focus the sense in which black students at UCT may have felt alienated and do feel alienated, the sense in which students who are members of the LGBTI community, lesbian, gay, transsexual, intersex community, or have different sexual orientations, the transgender community, students with disabilities, students with mental health challenges, students who have been the victims of sexual assault, many different communities and voices that have previously not been prominent have found voice in the last year, and the university is and will be a better place for the raising of those voices and challenging us as the authority and the executive of the university to respond constructively. And finally, I want to say something about the role of young people and all of us in changing our society and reminding us that we can be active citizens and we can change the world in many other dimensions beyond simply protesting and lobbying. While protests have been important in exposing the issues, the sacrifices of June 16 are also a reminder of the other roles that we play. Many students across the UCT faculties have ploughed their energy and passion into making a difference in the world in real practical ways. After hours teaching in the schools, in the local communities, offering legal services to serve thousands of people who are in need of those services and cannot afford lawyers, working in clinics through Shawco and through other organizations, the Tutu Center. Some of the UCT sports clubs have developed programs or have development programs in schools that don't have facilities. During weekends, students teach youngsters from informal settlements to surf and offer access to equipment and surfboards. A group of UCT engineering students are also keen skateboarders and have developed a skateboard park in Langa. Another group of computer and engineering students have developed technologies which now are part of a spin-out company, a social enterprise, to address the problem of fires in the shacklands, where a fire in one shack can spread so quickly and easily to destroy 1,000 shacks, and a system which has demonstrably been demonstrated to enable us to control those fires effectively. A humanities student is using his spare time to help preserve heritage in the Boerkaap area of Cape Town. Others have used their time to improve facilities for disability in communities. Students from the computer science department have designed applications for use in communities, while others have taught maths and science. Through the UCT Upstarts program, students who are aspiring social entrepreneurs have developed projects ranging from low-cost community-based security systems to a mobile art gallery and entrepreneurial courses for school children. Many students who are the first in their families to come to university go back home during the holidays to be role models and encourage other young people to aspire to go to university and particularly to come to UCT. Some of them have set up their own NGOs and projects within their communities. Another way that students are a force for good is through our Knowledge Co-op, a project which links community-based organizations with postgraduate students. Students are involved, in other words, communities come to the university and need research projects done, and we match them up with postgraduate students doing that research for them. Students are involved in everything from setting up websites and blogs for community groups to reading projects and urban farming. Beyond the lectures and tutorials, we hope you will carry forward the important values you have learnt while at UCT. A commitment to social justice, respect for diversity, that you go beyond the personal material goals in thinking about the impact of your enterprise on other people and on the environment. And that in particular you recognize the enormity of the privilege you have had in tertiary education and the enormity of the privilege and the elite group you form in having a degree from UCT. With that privilege comes the responsibility to give back and to make the world a better place for those who've not had these special privileges. So I urge you and congratulate you graduates and your parents. Go out, make a difference in some way. Through your attitude and actions, you will be honoring the sacrifices made by hundreds of young people on June 16, 1976, 40 years ago, and in the struggles that followed up until today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Price, for giving us the important perspective of how June the 16th and its aftermath rekindled the hope of freedom and how that new hope ultimately led to freedom, but also for helping us reflect soberly on what remains for us to do to finally secure what 1976 made possible, and also how to be responsible, active citizens. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a very special item, and that is an imbongi to praise the students and their families and their teachers. So we all know, of course, what an imbongi is, but for those who don't, I'm just going to tell you very briefly what an imbongi is. But before I do that, I just want to say that our imbongi has done a magnificent job. Over 13 ceremonies, over 5 days, and in 7 languages. So, an imbongi is a composer and orator of poems of praise. Imbongi offer critical commentary and narrative on the state of society through their izibongo. Now, here then to offer a poem of praise, an umbongo, in honor of the graduates, their families and teachers, is our artist and UCT music education student, Neliswa Sampi Mkunyelwa, and her stage name is Sange. Thank you.
What is
Can you believe she's done that 13 times? Thank you, Sangi, for a fantastic performance. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I will now admit to the degrees specified the candidates recorded as graduating in absentia. And I shall now admit to the degree specified the candidates who will be presented to me by the Dean.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you, for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Claire Megan Atchison. Aisha Adams. Mohammed Iksan Ali. Kaylin Anthony. With distinction in biochemistry, genetics, and the degree with distinction, Jordan Apperly. With distinction in biochemistry, genetics, and the degree with distinction, Nicole Kristen Aronsa. J.D. Lee Atkins. With distinction in biochemistry, genetics, and the degree with distinction, Jamie Connor Attenborough. With distinction in biochemistry, genetics, and the degree with distinction, Cara Lee Aves. Malibuye Bakela. Kelly Barrow. With distinction in Spanish and the degree with distinction, Alan Stephen Berman. Ntombi Kaise Precious Bengbu. With distinction in computer games development and the degree with distinction, Bryce Richard Billing. Kerry Lee Nicole Black. With distinction in marine biology and ocean and atmosphere science, Chloe Frances Blythe. With distinction in applied biology, marine biology, and the degree with distinction, Thomas Petrus Arnoldus Botha. Colin John Bohill. Alon Bresler. Renee Brink. Amy Samantha Bruce. Amy Berger. With distinction in marine biology, ocean and atmosphere science, and the degree with distinction, Jessica Mary Berger. With distinction in chemistry, Nonkululeko Buthelezi. With distinction in marine biology, Rio Eloise Button. Kuraisha Bucks. Muhammad Karim. Nicola Kathleen Cathcart. With distinction in biochemistry, human anatomy and physiology, and the degree with distinction, Bimbashe Patricia Chibanga. Ishmael Tiku. Intombi Zaneli Chinyanta. Tolang Rebecca Chonalanga. Marumo Flora Chuene. Vairadzo Amanda Churu. Alexandra Connolly. Jeremy Luke Coupland. Jackson Willie Dundo. With distinction in business computing and computer science, Marcello Edgar Duan. Jonathan Peter De Bruyn. James Andrew De Haast. Sipokazi Depa. Ruan Francois de Wet. Joshua Luca Diabona. Matthew James Dickey. Kwesi Duba. Riabetso Robin Dube. Arno Duvenage. With distinction in computer science, economic history, and a degree with distinction, Kevin Elliott. Daniela Tioni Emden. Nin Xing Fong. With distinction in applied biology, Laura Christina Figenshow. Mark Anthony Fitzgibbon. Charles Alvin Fitzhenry. With distinction in marine biology, Michael James Fleischman. Dean Matthew Flaw. Raquel Francesca Flynn. With distinction in marine biology and ocean and atmosphere science, Heather Jean Fora. Alicia Candace Fortain. James Peter Foster. Zakeli Eugene Khamede. With distinction in biochemistry, human anatomy and physiology, Amber Marie Gatley-Dewing. Nolwazi Zakiti Kwenza. Alexandra Sharon Glover. Cedrina Ann Govender. With distinction in computer science, Daniel Anthony Grindley. Maximilian Carl Alfred Hahn. With distinction in biochemistry, Patrick Luke Hannon. Mashko Lukman Hasim. Sunil Hopt. With distinction in applied biology, ecology and evolution, marine biology, and the degree with distinction, Kiara Evelyn Haylock. Joshua Paul Hendricks. Mark Alexander Swindale Hodgson. With distinction in environmental and geographical science, Claire Louise Holton. Alison Diane Hutton. With distinction in genetics, human anatomy and physiology, and the degree with distinction, Brittany Amber Jacobs. Roscoe Duane Yumpies. With distinction in biochemistry, Amelie Simone Johnson. Jennifer Lee Judd. Natalie Chido Kawandera. Mohammed Tanvir Khatib. Kayla Marion Killian. Samantha Ray Noble. Catherine Ruth Krigler. With distinction in business computing and computer science, Michael John Kayune. With distinction in human anatomy and physiology, Gabriel Page Late. Keenan Lorenzo Lawrence. Amohalang Paulina Lechodi. Jenna Lee Lamotti. Erin Grace Lotz. Fatuani Mabila. Amanda Mabinza. Amy Lee McIntosh. With distinction in ocean and atmosphere science, Boipelo Tuelopele Maruncela. Tandi Elsie Mahuai. Precious Tembamuzi Mashalela. Tumela Maja. Nosipo Monica Makazi. Tumelo Eugene Makaka. With distinction in ocean and atmosphere science, Matabo Nokolo Malange. With distinction in biochemistry, genetics, Hebrew language and literature, and the degree with distinction, Daniela Julia Mellon. Lunga Ongama Mapakula. Lungili Odwa Mapakula. Monique Murray. Nicola Michaela Martins. Kopela Matlala. Kumo Matloko. Mulalo Michael Matoro. Francis Marie Kos Matters. Sean William Maxwell. Nkosinati Mbali. With distinction in human anatomy and physiology, Tony McCann. Jessica Claire McCormack. With distinction in computer science, computer games development, and the degree with distinction, Brian Kyle McGeorge. Nomfundo Mkhize. Fortunate Mokhane. Likileko Mapabalo Anakleta Mohata. Moises Jacinto Moises. Stephen Mahotapelo Makoa. Tiboho Rosa Mokwena. Hoitzemang welcome Moleklechi. Nadira Ismail Mula. Robin John Matthew Munira. Candice Mortlock. Ritabili Emmanuel Moshesha. George Tiboho Mosito. Tanya Moyikwa. With distinction in genetics, Marianne Sophia Mufford. Amal Muzbali. Stephanie Maria Nkube. Jessica Lisa Nell. Richembiso Ngobeni. Intokozo Wendy Ngobane. Sandisiwe Zelda Noholoza. Zanelli Nzima. Rachel Vincent Obermeyer. Jacob Schmidt Olivier. Martin Umbura. Darren Papatanasio. With distinction in computer science, Ashik Mohammed Parker. With distinction in computer science, computer games development, and the degree with distinction, Muhammad Yunus Patel. Michael John Pepper. Yusasha Pillay. With distinction in human anatomy and physiology, Rebecca Rachel Popper. Alexandria Syra Proctor. Andries Ruben Patter. Katlego Ramahala. With distinction in biochemistry, chemistry, and the degree with distinction, Nicole Inga Richardson. Jessica Rose Ritten. Marcel Benjamin Ruot. Catherine Margaret Ross Stewart. Nicholas Ian Rout. Belinda Schmidt. Jonathan Nicolas Skuman. Stefano Sella Rolando. Zainab Sheikh. Indakonja Indasandana Shalenga. Osher Rael Schumann. Darren Rael Silke. Samuka Lesiwe Monabo Skosana. With distinction in biochemistry, genetics, and the degree with distinction, Joshua Guy Knight Smith. With distinction in biochemistry, human anatomy and physiology, and the degree with distinction, Shannon Claire Smiley. Jody Tani Stain. Michaela Stoffberg. Caitlin Rosemary Taylor. Laura Daniela Tenderini. Refilwe Pinda Tate. Kolontai Indira Tom. Ellis Chipo Tresa Tsetsa. Catherine Merle van Boom. Cornelia Margriete van der Berg. Natasha van Grunen. Nkolisi Ntokozo Crosby Vilakazi. Carl Anthony Fisser. Jessica Johanna van der Meerden. With distinction in computer science and computer games development, Andreas Joachim von Holy. Gemma Chisomo Walker. With distinction in human anatomy and physiology, Kirsten Weyand. Kudzai Pius Wande. Matthew Williams. Courtney Angelica Wilson. Kelsey Woer. With distinction in business computing, Tandeli Keipu. Alocanio Conti.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Bachelor of Science Honours in Atmospheric Science, First Class Michelle Jacqueline Gore. Nokwetaba Zamanguni Makanya. First Class Colleen Middleton. Koketso Molepo. Fikiswa Pelakazi Mpaka. Jake William Wolfenden. In biological sciences, Lily Astrid Bourbon. First Class, Sarah Ashley Cato. Tavis Andrew Dalton. First class, Nicola Francis Rule. In chemistry, Christopher Kieran DeSaf. Spusisiwe Michelle Dlamini. Dylan Gifford. Asanda Cleopatra Macheku. Nonkululeko Guguletu Mkwanazi. Diteboho Selina Ramaru. First class, Laika Rylands. Musa Tiki. First class, Alexios Ivan Vikatos. Cody Williams. In computer science, Brendan David Ball. Ngonijashi Nicholas Choga. First class, Jared De Beer. David Alexander Cargill Dunn. Yassine Hamdouleh. Zachary Jared Melnick. First class, Darrell Christopher Mayer. Kelvin Mills. Robert Mark Passmore. First class, Nicole Karen Peterson. Cody Boleyn Rolfe. In the first class, Lauren Christine Sandby. Roslyn Audrey Sandby. Ian Todd. Paul Wanjoe. First class, Chantel Young. In Environmental and Geographical Science, Jody Frank Brown. First class, Julie Ann Mary Coppinger. Machi Lillian Maboya. Heather Vimbai Mahachi. Timothy Oliver Mew. Lesego Pauline Malobi. Odwa Ntsika Mtembo. Naima Sadin. In geology, Sasha Max Brusso. Aquina Tabatsa Malachi. In marine biology, Lee Angela Badenhorst. Mohammed Kaji. Machotso Sizakela Sebanda. In molecular and cell biology, first class, Kim Enfield. Malashigo Kamane. Thomas Robert Sutcliffe. Varusha Pillai Viriappan. In ocean and atmosphere science, Ngwako Rabodiba Adam Mohale. First class, Belinda Mashweni Munyela. Dedrix Monyai Morake. Manare Caroline Sejeng. For the degree of Master of Science in Applied Marine Science, Ben Brooker. Craig Haley. With distinction, Tamsin Tyler. In archaeology, with distinction, Michelle Ann House. Ray Marilyn Regensburg. In biological sciences, Jennifer Kim Roberts. Wendy Megan West. In botany, with distinction, Ntwai Abram Moyeloa. Kolisa Yola Yola Senyanya. In chemistry, with distinction, Sipelele Sipesihle Malaza. With distinction, Giselle Marianti Vicatos. In climate change and development, with distinction, James Hamilton Erlam. In computer science, Amar Mohammed Al-Burgafsan. Benjamin Foster Hugo. Harry James Long. Kwechie MacDonald Luabona. Ryan Luke Mazzolini. With distinction, George Gitau Ngete. Sean George Silson. In conservation biology, Xiao Yang Jennifer Angor. Angela Joan Ferguson. Hermenegildo Alfredo Matimele. Jeslina Suri. With distinction, Wataru Tokura. With distinction, Julia Laura van Velden. Elke Visser. In Environmental and Geographical Science, Temitope Samuel Egbebiye. Robin Lee Lindiwe Granger. In geochemistry, Camille Andrea Elisa Olianti. In geology, with distinction, Kaylin Hamill. With distinction, Francisca Edelson Moreira Paiva. In information technology, Tamendram Shanmugam. In molecular and cell biology, Richard George Atkinson. Jean Felice Tassantuli. In ocean and climate science, Mark de Vos. Kushbu Jugru. Tanya Carol Williams. In zoology, Chanel Rampartab. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Climate Change and Development, Katrine Brink-Claessens. In Environment, Society and Sustainability, Dean Charles Harrison. Jacobus Johannes Kellerman.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Botany for a thesis which advances our understanding how the African biodiversity originates and accumulates by influence of diversification processes, morphological evolution, and phylogenetic relationships in the moss genus Intostodon Nicholas Wilding. In chemistry, for a thesis focusing on the development of potential antiparasitic agents through the preparation and evaluation of organometallic compounds containing thiosemicarbazone, quinoline, and benzothiazole pharmacophores in an attempt to circumvent the occurrence of parasite resistance. Moniba Adams. For a thesis which describes the development of new drugs for the treatment of parasitic worm infections, Raven Wilfred Masuka. In environmental and geographical science, for a thesis which explores the climatology of South Africa's surface wind using station records and reanalysis data, and facilitates an assessment of potential changes in the wind climate of South Africa as a result of a warming world. Francis Brendan Argent. For a thesis which explores the role of soil moisture feedbacks on seasonal rainfall over southern Africa through the use of regional climate models, Marshall Lyson Ndorka. For a thesis which investigates how climate change will affect food crop production in rain-fed farming systems of southern Africa and examines how well adjusting on-farm strategies can help farmers adapt. Nkulumo Zinyangere. In geology, for a thesis which develops a global correlation framework for the rocks that are formed before and after a major mass extinction event, such as 200 million years ago, at the dawn of the dinosaurs and other animals featured in the movie Jurassic Park. Laura Sisho. In molecular and cell biology, for a thesis which develops a novel method for the introduction of foreign DNA into a new species of streptomyces and identifies the biosynthetic pathway for the 2,5-diphenyl-oxazole and tubercular antibiotics. Ian Kyle Kemp. In zoology, for a thesis which provides a framework in which to analyze movement across multiple scales of both individuals and communities of afrotropical waterbirds, in order to clarify the mechanisms driving waterbird movement in highly dynamic landscapes. Dominic Augustine Wilmot Henry. For a thesis which contributes to a better understanding of the ecology of a large raptor and uses this information to assess the impacts of agricultural transformation on biodiversity. Sarah Megan Murgatroyd. For a thesis which investigates the dispersal of aquatic plants and invertebrates by waterbirds in southern Africa and describes how waterbird dispersal can influence aquatic community composition in spatio-temporally heterogeneous environments. Siobhan Reynolds. For a multidisciplinary thesis contributing to our understanding of factors influencing the success and effects of an alien invasive mussel, Susanna Katharina Francina Zierman.
And our graduates, wonderful. And you see the range, not only of subjects, this is what the university does, contributing new knowledge, knowledge that will change communities, and producing graduates who are going to go out there and change the world. Let's give them one huge round of applause for their achievement. And I know that you graduates will want to show your appreciation to your loved ones who have supported you financially, emotionally, psychologically, been there when you've had tough times and good times. And I invite you to stand up and make eye contact with your loved ones in the audience. Wave your scrolls above your heads to them and shout your appreciation to them. And we do too. I've met some of the parents before, and it's just the most exciting thing to meet parents, for example, who have come from a rural village, never been to Cape Town before, never seen the ocean before, and they're here to watch their children climb the podium and get this degree, and in one generation move from one kind of world and paradigm to another. And it's just the most thrilling thing for us as parts of the university to witness that happen. And graduates, I'm sure you'll know that you could not have got to where you are today without the support and the brilliance of the teachers and professors we have, and they're represented on the platform here, and I invite you to show your appreciation to them as well. And I want to add my appreciation personally. This has been a tough year for the academics of the university, for all its staff, but the academics had to run 2 sets of exams with the delayed exams or the deferred exams in January. There were significant sacrifices when the university was closed for 2 weeks, and you've pulled us through this and kept us in the prime position we are. A university is only as good as its brains trust, and that's represented by you and your research and your teaching. So I want to thank you again from the executive of the university. And there's another group we need to thank, because the staff of the university, you'll be surprised to learn, only 1/3 of the staff are academic staff. 2/3 are professional and administrative and support staff. They're the people who organize this graduation, the admissions, run the computer systems, the libraries, the residences, the security, the human resources. And without them, this university wouldn't be in the great position it is. And I ask you to show your appreciation to the staff of the administration. As you graduate tonight, most of you graduating from the University of Cape Town for the first time, you join a very distinguished club, a club that you will be members of your whole lives. You have no option, actually. We claim you as members, but it's a club you'll be very proud to be part of. It's called the Convocation of the University, the alumni of the university. It's a club of about 170,000 people today, and they're spread all over the world. They form chapters in towns and cities all over. And I hope that you will join those chapters. You will identify with the university and be ambassadors. We regularly visit cities around the world and link up with our alumni. And the convocation plays a really important role in the governance of the university, in ensuring that the standards are maintained, that the continuity from the past into the future is preserved. And you do this through electing the Chancellor of the university, who is currently Mrs. Grassa Machel. You also elect members of the Council of the university, which is the supreme governance body that appoints the Vice-Chancellor and the other executive members and determines the policy of the university. You can only play that role if you remain in touch with us. We need to send you ballot forms. We want to send you quarterly alumni news. We want to be able to inform you when we're visiting where you are, so that you can come and join us and celebrate the achievements of the university. So please do keep in touch. Do tell us when you change your address or when you change your email, so that we can ensure that you remain part of this magnificent family of the University of Cape Town all around the world. And with that, it's time for you to celebrate and go out and party with your families. Congratulations again.
We've come to the end of the ceremony, and in a few moments the Vice-Chancellor will dissolve the congregation. I invite all the graduates and the family and friends of the graduates to join us in the Robert Leslie building for refreshments. That is on the right-hand side as you go out, second last building on University Avenue. When the congregation has been dissolved, the platform party will process out. I invite all the graduates to join the procession and to process out of the hall with the procession. Please carry on processing right to the end of the steps, in other words, right onto University Avenue, so that we keep the door open and everybody can get out in good time. Please stand while the Vice-Chancellor dissolves the congregation.
Now, by the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the University of Cape Town.